CloudFormation is a tool from AWS for automating infrastructure provisioning in AWS using the infrastructure as code model. The tool is free, as in, all the CloudFormation functionalities are free to use, but the user will be charged for all the AWS resources that will be created through CloudFormation. Main advantage is that, being an AWS product, you can always expect up-to-date compatibility with AWS resources. Templates. Developers will model their AWS infrastructure using JSON or YAML syntax in CloudFormation template files. File extension could be anything you want. Each template could have one or more resources declared in it. They could have dependencies on each other, and CloudFormation will make sure to create the independent resource first and then create the resources dependent on it. AWS template format version, September 9, 2010. Version of the CloudFormation template. Only accepted value is September 9, 2010. Description. Enables you to include arbitrary comments about your template. Optional, e.g., this template will create an EC2. Mappings. Collection of key value pairs which can be used to set values. Optional, e.g., list of AMI-IDs for each AWS region. Resources. Declares the AWS resources that you want to include in the stack. Required, e.g., an EC2 instance, a security group. Parameters. Parameters enable you to input custom values to your template each time you create or update a stack. Optional, e.g., SSH key for logging into the EC2. Outputs. Declares output values that you can import into other stacks, return in response, or view on the AWS CloudFormation console. Optional, e.g., IP address of the EC2 instance created. Stack. When you deploy some infra using CloudFormation from a template, a stack is created. Think of it like you first create a Docker image, and when you run the image using Docker run, you create a container. Once you have a stack from a template, all the resources in the stack are tracked together. If the CloudFormation is successful, everything in stack is created. If even one resource fails, everything fails, anything already created will be rolled back. CF Demo 1. Now let's create an EC2 instance using CloudFormation. We can run the CloudFormation from AWS console or from terminal using AWS CLI. Both places, make sure you are using an IAM user with the required permission for creating EC2 instances with properties as given in the template, and you have not crossed the limits in your accounts. Note, this file should be used from US East 1 region in AWS, because the AMI ID and template exists in that region. From console, CloudFormation, create stack, with new resources template is ready, import file. Select the file created. Enter stack name. We don't have any parameters in this template. Click Next. Keep all other options default and click Create Stack. After some time, creation is complete. Timeline of the CloudFormation process is shown. In the Resources tab you can see the resources created. Physical ID shows a link to the resource in EC2 console. Congratulations! You have created your first resource in AWS with CloudFormation. To do the same from CLI, you can run command, as shown. Now if you delete the stack from the CloudFormation stack console, it will not just delete the entry inside CloudFormation, it deletes the resources too. Remember, stack equals deployed resources from template. To delete from CLI. CF Demo 2, more features. Mappings. Mappings will help us here. Mappings help to add key value pairs in a table form in the template, and select and use a value from it using one or more keys. A sample mapping section might look like shown. In this map, by specifying the map name, an example map, and top-level key 01, and second-level key 01, we can derive value 01. For this we use CloudFormation intrinsic functions find in map and ref. Find in map takes the map name, and the ref takes a key as parameters. For our purpose, let's have a map of valid AMI IDs. We will limit it to US regions for this exercise. Here map name is Asami region map, top level key is the AWS region. We will fetch this from CF environment shortly. Second level key is the string Amazon. Linux 2. Instead of having image ID hard-coded, now we will fetch it using region. AWS. Region is a pseudo-parameter which will always contain the current session AWS region. It is set by CloudFormation service. We use ref function to get that value. Parameters. Now, let's say we want to prompt the user to enter a tag value as name, not really a production case. Tagging is usually controlled and automated. We can use parameters for that. We can add an parameter to input the tag via outputs. What if we want to print the IP address of the EC2 instance? Output will help us here. GetIt intrinsic function can be used to access the properties of the AWS resource that was created. Below given code will output the public IP attribute of the EC2 created. Note that we are using the logical ID of the resource, test instance, in the function. When we run this in us east1 it picks up the AMI ID that is defined for us east1, and when we run it in us west2 it picks the AMI for us west2. Tags supplied via the parameters are also reflecting. Nested stack. What if you had an RDS database used for different applications, and you want to keep its template and stack separate from application stacks that use it? Or you want to have modularity or code reuse in your templates? In all these cases we can achieve those by using a nested stack. Nested stacks usually have one root template/stack, and it calls all the other child templates/stacks from that. A nested stack resource would look like this in template. For e.g., we want to create a security group and associate the EC2 to that security group. How this would work in nested group is so: 1. Root template calls security group template. Security group template has an output defined. 2. Now back in the root template we can get the value instd, which is security group ID, using the getIt syntax. 3. Note the usage of the stack name. So when we call the EC2 template from root to create EC2, we can send the security group ID. To receive this parameter in the EC2 template we should have parameters defined with same name, and make sure to actually use it. Because security group ID is a single string and the parameter for security group IDs expects a list of strings, we use split function to create a list of one item. For a nested template, all templates should be inside an S3 bucket. How do we pass the S3 bucket to the templates? Using a parameter in root template. Remember we used to have a parameter for the name tag of the EC2. This also becomes a parameter inside root template. Both these can be passed with ref function to the child templates that need it. For e.g., we upload all template files to an S3 bucket. Main.yaml is the root template. Provide path to that in CloudFormation. Enter EC2 name tag, bucket name parameter values. Because we are creating stacks inside stacks, we need to acknowledge these capabilities. Check those. On stack creation completion you can see on the left side one normal stack and two nested stacks. Events, outputs etc. can be checked individually for these. Instance created. It has the expected name tag and it is associated with the security group that was created. For deleting the resources from a nested stack, be sure to click delete on the root stack. AWS CloudFormation is a big topic and we have covered the essentials in this post. You can expect one more post on this topic where I would cover some more on this area like. Hope this was helpful.